Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Slamhub Wrestling. Myself, Suprit, and this is your Money in the Bank review 2021, by the way. And we are joined once again by Spandan. So, what you think about Money in the Bank?
I have missed doing reviews so much, and now that the crowds are back, we have even more to talk about. And I saw how excited you and Ridwan were for the SmackDown review. You didn't even talk about Raw in that detail because you wanted to talk about the crowd. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm in a green t-shirt. My background's green. I'm in full Money in the Bank mode. So overall, I am very excited that the crowds are back, and the pay-per-view felt very good from top to bottom. It was booked really well, and I don't think the results were very bad either. Some of the wins were unpredictable, to be honest, and overall I could give it a good 8.5 or 9 out of 10, removing one for some of the things. So let's dissect Money in the Bank now, because good show.
I think this was the best WWE pay per view so far. I would even rank it above Mania and Rumble.
For this year,
Yes, this year, 2021.
because adding the return of crowds, because WrestleMania was so iconic just because fans were back. But then from the next day of Raw, we didn't have them. So it felt kind of bad, because the Raw after Mania was very bad in the sense because we just had fans a night before. So it felt even worse than it was originally. So now that it's permanent, people are not going to leave, hopefully. So amazing show, and best pay-per-view till date, but you never know. SummerSlam is going to kick it out and become the best again. So it's going to be exciting.
And by the way, did you note the duration of the show? I felt like it was, I think, just an hour or at least half an hour extra or longer.
Okay, let me see. The pay-per-view started at 10 a.m. for me because I had an exam in the morning, so I didn't watch it live. And it ended around 1:30, 3.5 hours. So 6 matches, I don't think it had to go that long, but again, they gave proper time to each and every match. And yes, I think it did go overtime.
So I think they need to consider once again, like this whole pandemic era, the pay per views were, they kept it a little short, which was good. So I hope they continue that format. Like try to tone it down. I have a feeling that they're going to, with this SummerSlam being a big thing, they're going to add a little hours to that show.
Yeah, because throughout the pandemic, we have talked about this, that the reason for matches being less is because they know that viewers won't stick around for a lot of time. So if you do 5 to 6 matches on a pay per view, it is fine. There is no problem in it. But I don't think we should judge that point at Money in the Bank, because it was their first pay per view with fans, not counting WrestleMania, because it was the return of fans permanently, Money in the Bank. So they went ahead with all the things they wanted to do, because fans won't hate it right now. Right now, they won't complain about the number of matches. So yeah, going ahead, they will reduce it a bit, tone it down a bit. But SummerSlam, I don't think is going to be toned down. We, I think, already have around 3 to 4 matches confirmed, I would say, for SummerSlam. So let's talk about that. But talking about the toning down process, I think after SummerSlam, not that early.
And speaking about Money in the Bank, the crowd here in Hartford, I think it was way better, way louder than
Fort Worth,
Houston. Did I say Hartford or was it something else?
you named the 2019 arena.
So what? Which city we were in on this week's? Sorry, this Money in the Bank.
It was Fort Worth, Texas.
Oh, anyways, man, this was way better than the Houston crowd, or louder, you could say.
They were so good. They were so respectful. They were not bashing any of the heels. We were expecting Drew McIntyre to be booed. He was not. Roman Reigns also got less of a boo than compared to Houston on SmackDown. There were amazing pops for everyone. Every single superstar got a good amount of cheers. And the thing that you were complaining about, that the audios were being piped in, even we don't like it. But I thought that complaining about it on the first show is not justified. But if you compare it to SmackDown, then Money in the Bank had less audio pipe-ins. And that is because the city was so good enough that we didn't need the audios. They were supporting everyone. So yeah, brilliant crowd, and they got what they wanted. But I have an issue, because I regularly see empty seats in the arena. They are saying sold out, but are the people leaving? Because we have empty seats in front of the camera. They're not doing anything to cut down those seats, which they can't. But what is happening there? Are people not entering? Are people staying home due to safety or something like that? Because I do see seats empty.
So I think there are certain WWE shows, in this bunch of shows they have announced. For example, the MSG show, they are saying that
Hmm.
it's a lot of that facing a lot of issues, packing people in that arena. Like there is some issue going on with MSG and other WWE shows as well. But I think Money in the Bank was almost sold out.
Hmm. Because we got the news that Houston and Fort Worth and Dallas tomorrow for Raw. All of these three cities are sold out for the first three shows. And talking about the MSG problem, I think the issue is because AEW also has a show nearby. So the all the rumors that AEW is selling out rather quickly than WWE and all of that, AEW is selling cheaper tickets, too cheap tickets, which is why instantly the shows are getting filled. So yeah, the MSG will get booked. WWE is making that the mecca of arenas,
I
and
think I think to interrupt you on this MSG topic, I think it's because MSG has a rule of everyone needs to be vaccinated, so that's why I think that's the main problem selling it out.
okay, so I did not know that. Thank you. So that might be an issue actually. And next week also, I think there are two arenas or something like that for SmackDown. I don't know it clearly right now. So all of that is going to happen, but hopefully nothing changes because WWE I don't think can adapt that quickly. If something happens, they're going back to the PC for one show. The Thunderdome can't be built so quickly. So I hope nothing happens. I pray to God nothing happens. But yeah, MSG is a good crowd. And, talking about crowds, they pump everything in the company. The wrestling business, WWE, AEW, TNA, everything is fueled by the audience. And they do it for them, entertainment. So the crowds have to be back, and they are back. But you just don't want them to leave. So MSG problem, hopefully it gets sorted out. And Fort Worth, I am happy to say that they are the second best crowd I have ever seen. Nothing tops Vancouver, BC, Canada. That is the best crowd I have ever seen. So Fort Worth, number two.
Like it's like it was like an NXT takeover card. Sorry, crowd. Like they be a little more
Yes,
passionate.
because they're back and they want to see more and more and more. And on SmackDown, we saw Finn Balor not debuting, wrong word, coming back to SmackDown. On SummerSlam in the main event, we saw something big. We'll talk about that, not ruining anything. So, yeah, all of that big stuff is happening. So, I'm really happy that it is. And the fans are happy that they are back. WWE is too happy. And finally, some of the hate that has been thrown on Splashed on Vince is slowly being removed. That he came out, where the hell have you been? And now the shows are going good. So I'm really happy.
So shall we get to the review part then?
Yes, let's start off with the kickoff show match because it was crucial.
But before that, if you are new to Slamhub Wrestling, then make sure to like, share, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Check out our other content. All the links provided in the description below. So check that out. So let's start from the kickoff show. Did you check out the match, by the way?
I did not. I did not watch the entire match. I will, but I do know the result, and it was fatal considering the storyline that's going on.
So it was the Mysterios versus the USOs for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. I thought this match was really good, man. Even for the kickoff show, the crowd was into it. And yeah, like you said, we got new tag team champions in the USOs. So, what do you think about the match?
Yes. Now, as they announced the match before 2 days or one day, and the reason that people actually filled in the arena during the kickoff show is because how important this match was to the main event of the show on the main card. Because that's the major storyline. This is kind of the side feud of it. And I did not expect this result, to be honest, because the result at WrestleMania Backlash between Mysterios and Dirty Dogs, that was an important result. And so quickly, your father son duo is done. So Usos, I have always said that they are my legit favorite tag team. Second favorite GYV, sorry, grizzled young veterans, I'm sorry, but you come at number two. So Usos are now at 7 times as SmackDown Tag Team Champions. So I'm extremely happy that that has happened, and it was really important for Roman's entire storyline, and now Bloodline draped in gold.
So, by the way, like I said, match was really good. The main highlight of this match was where Rey Mysterio was going for a 619. I think it was on Jay. So the other Uso, he took the bullet for Jay. So Dominic was getting beaten down. So we had Rey Mysterio getting a super kick, and he ate a splash, but this didn't get the job done for the Usos. So we get to the end of the match. So I think it was Jimmy who went for a roll up on Rey Mysterio, but we get a little assist from Jay from the outside. Usos got the win. They are your new tag team champions from the SmackDown brand. And yeah, and I think you could see another potential. I think it mostly will be a rematch, maybe at the next pay per view or one of the SmackDowns. Who knows?
That could happen. Now, I love how you played Roman and said the other Uso. So, yeah, Jimmy and Jay, they are the Usos, and great story to be honest, because I did not expect this. This was one of the unpredictable wins. And moving on in the storyline, this is going to be really interesting what happens. And I do smell a rematch, but not on an episode of SmackDown. I think they should save it for SummerSlam, because after SummerSlam, you are building the Alpha Academy on SmackDown as credible challengers for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. So they could be a Clash of Champions contenders. For this, they should build it as a Tag Team Championship feud and do it at SummerSlam, not on a regular SmackDown.
And the purpose of getting the titles on Usos, it's just to, drive the whole storyline with Roman and the bloodline.
Yeah, it's been going on since the first match of Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. So that was back in September at Clash of Champions. It's almost a year, and still there is no tiredness from the fans of it. They want more and more. Every SmackDown in the Thunderdome, we wanted Bloodline segments again and again, and they kept us waiting for the next week of SmackDown. That is good storytelling. And now that Usos are SmackDown Tag Team Champions, their brother is still the champion. So draped in gold is the bloodline. That's going to be awesome. And moving forward on SmackDown, people can't wait. Even in the groups, people when talking about Money in the Bank, they were like 4 more and 5 more days for Friday Night SmackDown. Why do we have to wait 5 days? Give it to us tomorrow. But yeah, that is good storytelling. If fans want a show which is 5 days ahead on the next night, that is good storytelling. Fans are getting excited, and the story is not going to end anytime soon. But I think during the main show, there was a segment after the Usos win with Roman backstage. I want to talk about that. That was a bit strange.
I think it was where Roman is actually taking credit for Usos beating the Mysterios. Like Roman is set the table for Usos to beat the Mysterios and get the title, something like that. So Roman here is actually expecting something from the Usos in return. So we have Jey Uso said, "Yeah, I acknowledge you as my tribal chief. You are my tribal chief since day one, etc., etc." And Jimmy was a little iffy, yeah. I also acknowledge you as my tribal chief. So that was going around. So the thing is, I mentioned it on the main roster talk podcast. Like Jimmy is just playing around. He's just playing with Roman Reigns. He's not fully acknowledging Roman Reigns as his tribal chief.
That's awesome if you consider the story, because the way they built it, it was so strange to see Jimmy Uso like that. Like you cringe on live television right now. When you're watching that show, you're cringing the what is he saying? Why is he reacting like this? So yeah, Jimmy Uso is not acknowledged Roman Reigns yet, but I think he's going to be forced to. But now that they have the tag team championships, this makes the story even more intriguing. Because if the Mysterios kept the championships, Jimmy attacking Roman or something like that would have made sense. But now Jey Uso does acknowledge Reigns. Jimmy Uso doesn't. They have the tag titles. They can't split up. So something is going to happen on SmackDown. It is extremely exciting to see what is going to happen. And I'm excited to see that because the Usos now being tag team champions, Roman being Universal Champion, the story is just getting started. Even though it's been going on for like almost 10 months, it's just getting started.
So this is how the Roman Reigns booking strategy works. Like the Usos thing is your, main storyline. So you can stretch it out. So in the meantime, you can feed Roman, the big stars. For example, Edge and the other guy we'll talk about. But that's the whole thing.
Mm. Yeah, that's the way they're booking it because Usos are tag team champions. Roman is the main guy. Who is going to be in which part? That's what we have to see. And oh my god,
Enough with the snacks. Only take beverages.
yeah, I have water. I don't even have beverages. So yeah, I'll start again. So your question was Usos and Roman storyline in the future, basically. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'll go. I'll start. So the Usos now being SmackDown Tag Team Champions, are they the main storyline? I don't think so. But if you're related and connected to Roman Reigns, you are kind of the main storyline because he's either in the beginning or in the end. He's made it clear I'm not the random guy who can pop up in the middle. So he'll be the main attraction of SmackDown for long. And the Usos are the side role because Roman Reigns versus a single superstar that can continue. Even when Jey Uso was there, Jey Uso was kind of there to take a loss to Roman's opponent, and then Roman kills his opponent at the next pay-per-view. So that's the thing that has been going on. Now adding Jimmy Uso to the story, Jimmy Uso kind of fake being nice to Roman, acknowledging him, all of that going on. It's extremely intriguing, and SmackDown is just getting better and better each and every week. So this week is also going to be amazing. I do smell a Sasha Banks return as well. But that's all for the main roster with Ridwan. For right now, yeah, this story is going awesome, and I can't wait to see what's next.
But the only sad part is that the SmackDown tag team titles are a prop in this storyline. But that's basically the tag team division. So nothing much to talk about.
I think the tag team division is getting better, Suprit, to be honest. Because the tag team title match that happened on the main card, oh my god, we will talk about that. But the tag titles, I think, are a bit of a prop in the storyline. I don't think a lot because Usos are a legit tag team. They're not two single superstars put together. They are a tag team. So let's see where this heads because they're booking Alpha Academy as well. So they're not forgetting tag team wrestling entirely. But yeah, they take time, and now that the crowds are back, I told this before many times that WWE will be forced to book good storylines, and now they are.
But let's talk about the main card. So they opened up with the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. So can you list off the participants here?
That's going to be a tough task. But from Raw, it was Alexa Bliss, Naomi, Asuka, and I'm forgetting the winner, Nikki ASH. And from the SmackDown side, it was the women's tag team champions Natalya and Tamina. I don't know for what reason. It was Zelina Vega, excited to see her back, and Liv Morgan, who was my pick to win the match, but she didn't, alas. So yeah, those were your 8 participants.
And for a Money in the Bank ladder match, this sucked.
I am not going to doubt you 1%, even though I doubt your points a lot. But I'm not going to do that here because this was a very poorly executed Money in the Bank ladder match. And you can't even take the point of inexperience because out of the 8 wrestlers, only 2 were having their first Money in the Bank ladder match, Zelina Vega and Liv Morgan. Natalya, every single Money in the Bank ladder match, she's been there. Tamina, she's been in 2 or 3 for the first 2 ladder matches. You have the other, Nikki Cross has been in 1. She's the same person. So Alexa Bliss is a former winner. So all of these people have been in Money in the Bank ladder matches. no crazy spots, no moments, no aspiring moments. But even though it was a very bad match, it was the first match on the main card, so the crowd again made it better. But I didn't like the match at all. But again, the win was extremely unpredictable. She wasn't in the betting odds, to be honest. But let's talk about some highlights, even though there weren't many.
By the way, you just mentioned here, like they were mentioning. So this was the theme for all of the matches here. Like they were giving you some glimpses and highlights of these performers, like
Yeah,
reminding the people about these performers, like what have they achieved, etc., etc.
yeah, because in this entire match, I didn't see Zelina Vega for a lot of time. Zelina Vega was kind of just there. I once seen her do any spots. Alexa Bliss was a main attraction. She was doing some crazy things. Then we had Liv Morgan, who shined in this match. She was kind of the MVP. And we had two people who were just ruining the match over there, Natalia and Tamina. I don't know what they were doing, but every single time we were going to have something good, they came in and ruined the spot. Absolute. And Tamina was being booed out of the building. I think she's the only one who was booed tonight. They were just not good in the match. Tamina is a bit, not a bit, but extremely botchy in the ring. She was trying to do her best, but I think it was a not good performance from the women's tag team champions.
People were not invested, man. People were not invested. Like I said, this lineup was so bad. Like I wasn't shocked, to get this type of match from this woman.
Because Carmela was kind of taken out of the match. You couldn't have done anything, but she would have been amazing. She's a two-time winner. And Natalia and Tamina were just added to make fill the spots. Just added. You cannot make us agree that there was some other reason they were winning or something else. They were just filling the spots. And already being women's tag team champions, there was no use for them to be there. And that is the problem again with extra people being in the match. You don't have to necessarily make it an 8-man ladder match, 8-woman ladder match. They can be 3 and 3 from each brand. 6 people you give each and every wrestler time, you can do it easily. Doesn't mean extra wrestlers to extra spots. The one spot that we were having from of Nikki ASH, jumping from on top of the ladder to the people, she slipped and didn't even hit Zelina Vega or Asuka or some of the other wrestlers. So extremely poor execution of the match, not well booked. Superstars did try to shine in the match. Liv Morgan did her best, but Asuka did her best. Asuka was being cheered extremely well in the arena. Naomi was being cheered. Alexa Bliss was being cheered. But people can do what they can. The crowd was trying their best to be invested, but the match had to add something, right? You just can't expect the crowd to just cheer the hell out of the match and not have anything. So yeah, poor execution 101.
So you just said one of the highlights here that Nikki Ash. So while every woman was fighting inside the ring, she was on a ladder which was outside, and she did a dive which she barely hit. And by the way, the ladder almost tipped. So there you go.
Exactly. Because when she climbed the ladder, she stood there for around 5 to 6 seconds, which was stupid. She stood there for 5 to 6 seconds, did this and all of that stuff. And we already saw that the other 7 female superstars were already walking towards her so that she could jump. And that spot was extremely poorly executed. She was almost going to fall. 3 or 4 wrestlers didn't even get hit. So you can just go on about how bad this match was, because you could have ended it. They ended it on a good note because Nikki ASH was a fan favorite and people loved that she won. But talking about the match, there was nothing really to talk about.
And there was Alexa Bliss. So before the match began, she was just standing there on the second row. And when this woman started fighting, when the match began, so she just reached out to the briefcase, and I thought she was going to do some shit, and the briefcase was going to drop. And if that had happened, then the Money in the Bank concept would have died right there.
Yeah, RIP MITB. That would have been the headlines next day. That would have been your thumbnail. So Alexa Bliss grabbing the briefcase like this and it falls. I was saying, no, please don't. So yeah, that was the one moment where I think someone entering, Asuka entering and taking out Alexa Bliss was a saving. Otherwise, that would have happened. So yeah, Alexa Bliss did shine in the match. I don't know what her character is because she's a villain and people are like, yay! So what's happening? It's just crazy. But again, with something that has happened towards the end of the night and the same person arriving tomorrow on Raw. So Raw is a must watch tomorrow. For after months and months and months, Raw is a must watch tomorrow. So let's just see what happens.
And there was another Alexa Bliss spot where we had Zelina Vega climbing to the ladder. We had Alexa Bliss climbing to the ladder. So they went face to face. And yeah, Zelina Vega got hypnotized. And this is the same. This was basically they were demonstrating how Zelina Vega got hypnotized the same way when she saw that WWE contract.
Oh,
So
burn.
that happened there. So we get to the final part. So we got all the women fighting over the ladders here. So Nikki Ash took the opportunity and she just climbed and grabbed while these women were fighting like complete geeks. So there you go. Nikki Ash is Miss Money in the Bank. Yeah.
Okay, 3 to 4 months or 4 to 5 months down the line, or even 5 to 6 months, there you go. Your first ever failed women's cash in. You have that in the future because I don't think at all that she's going to be the Raw Women's Champion. If she does, obviously I'll be happy, but the track record for the women's cash in has been 100% till date. Nobody has failed. From Carmella to Alexa Bliss to then Bailey, Asuka, everyone has successfully cashed in, even though Asuka was not a cash in. So it's 100% till now. So we'll see what happens. But Nikki Ash, I think it's going to be the first failed cash in.
Like if it was Nikki Cross, the basic wrestler, I would have we could have had something with it, but she is in a somewhat of a gimmick right now. I won't be
Yeah,
surprised if they pull a. I won't be surprised if they pull a Otis on her.
yeah, they can, but it's just happened this year itself. That Mrs. Cashton and all of that stuff. So hopefully that doesn't happen. I would rather take a failed cash in than something like that because at least before a failed cash in, there will be some pop that, oh my God, she's all that stuff. But let's just not take our hopes out this early because she can cash in. We have seen people become Raw Women's Champion and not deserve the title at all. So let's see what happens in the future because she is a good competitor. She's not bad, but this character is just goofy. The Hurricane was never put into a match where we believe that he's going to win the WWE Championship. So let's just see what happens. But yeah, good win. Happy for her, but cash in, maybe not.
And I wonder how will she manage the carrying the briefcase and saving Gotham City at the same time.
Let's just move on to the next match.
So we head to the Raw Tag Team Championship match. It was AJ Styles and Omos. So they were facing the Viking Raiders. AJ Styles is the out of the other three guys, he's the most over guy in this arena. Typical AJ Styles. So I thought this match was fine, but the problem is AJ Styles was doing all the hard work here.
I would go ahead and say it was not fine, it was great. I'm sorry, but I loved the match. So, tag team matches for a long time, we haven't seen some good tag team matches. I think the last good tag team match, not feud, was the Hurt Business versus New Day on TLC. I think that was the last good tag team match I saw. And after that, I think this match was really, really good. The Viking Raiders shined in this match and almost got a lot of time. It was not like AJ did all the work and almost came in the end and finished the match. Almost was there. There were around 6 to 7 tags between the champions. So yeah, AJ did a lot of good work. And I want to talk the highlights because there were some incredible spots in this match. Not breaking stuff and DQ stuff, but there were normal spots in this match which were very, very good. So a fair win for AJ and Omos, and RK Bro is probably next.
Like Omos can do stuff, but AJ, if you want to talk about the story of the match, then he does the heavy lifting here.
Yeah, AJ did the heavy lifting, but you have to put some credit on Omos because a guy that big is not supposed to move the way he does. he's 7'3", and we do know a guy who's 7'3". We do know where he's from, and we do know how he moved. So, not taking any names, but he was very great. So that's it. So
Ah,
yeah, he was great, and so almost is a great guy, and the way he moves, the way he does stuff in the ring, he's a big guy with speed. Now that's freakish. So he's doing good. I think he's filling out right now. He's in the emerging process, and there's no one better to be with than AJ Styles. And Styles, there's no doubt that he's if the one of, if not the best in the world. So yeah, he's a great competitor, one of my favorites, AJ Styles, and he was too over with the crowd because apparently Omos and AJ are the heels here, but we have seen heels being, cheered tonight, so nothing different there.
so you wanted to talk about the highlights. So one of the main, you could say, spot, you could say. So I think it was who's that guy? I'm forgetting the names of the Viking Raiders.
Eric and Ivar.
So yes, it was Eric was outside the ring. So what they did was, so almost tossed Styles outside the ring, and Styles turns it into a Hurricane. That was beautiful.
Smooth. Like it was execution from all three men. Almost picking up and throwing Styles the perfect way. Eric catching him the right way. Styles delivering the Hurricane Rana. So it was smooth and it was awesome to see. So yeah, that was just one of the spots. Ivar is 330 pounds and almost carried him like a bench press. Like, what the hell are you doing, man? Like, he just carried him like this. How strong is this guy? So, yeah, AJ Styles, I think he's like, you can't say enough about that guy. He's just too damn good. And this Hurricane Rana that they did, it didn't feel like he was not able to catch him. It was failed or something like that. Went smoothly, delivered it smoothly, came back. So, yeah, very good spot.
So there was another hope spot. Like we thought, the Viking Raiders are about to get the win here. Like they hit the Viking experience on Styles. So I think there was almost. So he pushed one of the Viking Raiders guy to to break the pinfall. That was, I think that's being seen a lot nowadays in tag team matches, but still a good spot. So at the end we see almost he actually, you could say, did that double choke slam thing, you could say, on, I think it was on Eric. So that got them the victory. Styles and Omos are still tag champions, and there you go. A fine match. You say it was great, and I think AJ Styles, man, if once the WWE title picture, gets little, if you want some fresh faces, then you can call AJ Styles and maybe have another solid WWE title run.
Yeah, absolutely. This guy, I don't know how many years he's left with because he's, I think, 43 right now, and he had said he'll retire when he's 42. So apparently that is not true. So I just hope he goes on for as long as he can because Undertaker during 42, let me see when Undertaker was 42, 14 years back. So 2007, he was basically in his prime. He was facing Edge and Batista and all of those people. So AJ Styles has a couple of years. I hope he doesn't go to 56 because I don't want to see a bad AJ Styles. So let's see how many years he's got. But talking about when he's going to be a single star again, I hope very soon. But where does Omos go? I just feel that I don't want Omos to be wasted again because he's good. He's not bad. He doesn't have the best mic skills. That's why he has AJ Styles. But I don't want to see him have another Commander Aziz treatment because he's better than the Baba Tunde or Daba Kato or whoever that guy is because that guy is not wrestling that much. He's just like a bodyguard for Apollo Crews. Almost is actually wrestling. So whatever he does, I hope he's doing. Maybe just stand with AJ Styles like he did for the early part of his run with AJ as the personal colossus, and AJ is the single superstar. What's the problem with that?
That's
But
it.
yeah, I do. Yeah, simple. I do not want to see AJ Styles retire without another WWE Championship reign or Universal title.
I don't know what they do with Omos. Pairing him with Styles is just that simple. Don't break them up.
Yeah, simply because when they became a tag team, the first tag team match that they had was at WrestleMania and they win the titles. Till then, he came around November, I think, or maybe even earlier than that. So the first 4 or 5 months, he was just a bodyguard for AJ Styles, and that was working out fine. There was no problem with that. So when he eventually does become a single star, I don't think it should be a storyline or anything. They lose the tag team titles. AJ is a single superstar. Omos is still with him. Simple.
And about AJ Styles retiring, he won't be retiring before that big dream match with Kenny Omega. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
You do love, simping for EW. So,
Listen, man. Listen. That is a big dream match in wrestling right now.
yeah, it is. But I wouldn't say I don't want to watch that. I do want to watch that. Hopefully, it happens in WWE. I do not ever want AJ Styles seen on another company. I do not want to download episodes and watch AJ Styles. I want to see him on my big TV. So AJ, don't go anywhere or don't go anywhere if you can make it.
Ah, nice, nice. So let's get on with the WWE Championship match. It was the almighty Bobby Lashley versus Kofi Kingston. I actually kind of liked the story going into this. So can you give us some backstory of how did we get to this point?
Yeah. So it kind of began even before Hell in a Cell. So when it was Drew McIntyre begging for another WWE Championship match, which he's been doing since February. So when he was doing that, Kofi was like, no, you're done with the opportunities and now I want one. So he faced Bobby and he pinned the WWE champion, but with help from Drew McIntyre. So they went 2 weeks to finally decide who's going to face Bobby at Hell in a Cell. It was Drew. But you still had that feeling that Kofi will be back in the WWE title picture because he still has a pinfall victory over Lashley. So after that, it was simple. After Hell in a Cell, it was clear McIntyre is not facing him one-on-one. Simply, Kofi comes out, challenges him, and all of that stuff happens. Kofi gets his match, but it also was fueled by another Hell in a Cell match on Raw, which was Bobby Lashley versus Xavier Woods. Again, great match. So yeah, the story was not bad, to be honest. Just that Raw doesn't have a lot of viewers is because it doesn't do an overall good show. It's not like some things are not good. So this was always a good thing. MVP and Lashley was always a good thing. So yeah, the story was really good moving into this. And every single week it was Kofi who got an up on Lashley. Even Xavier pinned him again the last show in the Thunderdome. But in the last segment of the Thunderdome, the VIP lounge, we saw an enraged Lashley. And if you ask me, then if there's a question, how do you make your WWE champion look like a monster? This is how you do it.
And I think it continued in this match. Like it was a glorified squash match. Like I don't even remember Kofi doing one bit of offensive.
In the start, when MVP held Kofi's leg, Lashley went down and he, even though didn't hit the turnbuckle, Kofi tried some of the stuff, but it was only roll-ups and stuff. And then began the massacre of Kofi Kingston because Lashley just ruined the life out of Kofi Kingston. The flatliner, he modified it. He picked up Kofi and then smashed his face on the ground. Like he generally does a standing one. He modified that as well. Hurt lock, didn't allow Kofi to tap, dropped, countered it into a follow-away slam. Like Lashley, not bad in the ring. So all of that stuff happened. He power bombed him, spine busted him again and again. So again, going back, how do you make your champion look like a monster? This is how you do it. Because very good term used, glorified squash match. Indeed, it was because Lashley looked like a monster. We knew Kofi is not winning the match. So why do an even match that, okay, all of this happens, Kofi is maybe going to win and all of that stuff. Simple. I didn't hate the way they did it at all. And Lashley is going to face some bald idiot at SummerSlam.
And I was not offended at all that Kofi Kingston got squashed here, but I think that was the predictable outcome, giving Lashley the win here, still being WWE champion. And the way they did the squash match, I wonder if it was for a specific reason. I wonder if someone is coming back.
Yeah, you are wondering, right? Because tomorrow night, even though WWE hasn't advertised it, the idiots in the building have advertised that WWE Hall of Famer former two-time Universal Champion Bill Goldberg is coming back to Monday Night Raw.
That's not the guy I was talking about, man. I want the other guy in the ponytail.
You want the butcher. You want the modified Brutus the Barber Beefcake that you want.
Yeah.
Someone cutting through Bobby Lashley. But you are not getting Lesnar this early. So you are going to get the other guy. But I don't think anyone has to be sad that Goldberg is going to come and win the WWE Championship. It's obvious he has a two-match contract. He's already fought McIntyre earlier at the Rumble. So he cannot win the championship because if he does, he'll defend it again next year in 2022. So calm down. Goldberg is coming. Enjoy the random spears and jackhammers if he can pick up Lashley, obviously. Enjoy the stuff that he does. Enjoy the entrance because he's not winning. Calm down.
I don't know, man. This is WWE we are talking about. If they get at least a bit of bored with Mr. Bobby Lashley, then it's game over.
No, I don't think he's winning because people were saying at the Rumble even that okay, he might win the Royal Rumble and all of that stuff after he's lost to McIntyre. It can't happen. He does have an obvious two-match clause. 2019, look at it. It began in 2019. He faced Undertaker, he faced Dolph Ziggler. In 2020, he beat The Fiend, lost to Strowman, left. This year, he lost to McIntyre. Now he'll lose to Lashley. He will lose to Lashley. Don't lose hope. And then he'll leave again to come next year. So he's just working for the money. Eric Bischoff was right in an interview with Chris, I don't remember his surname. So it was an interview and Eric Bischoff said, Bill is just working for the money. And that's right. He's getting a shitload of money for just two matches every year. And what's the problem for him?
Let's see, man. But if we want to talk some highlights here, so this was full on a squash match with Kofi Kingston. Like he's ramming this guy into the, could say, support beam or the ring post, you could say. We see three dominators back to back to back. And yeah, finally locks in the hurt lock, and that's it. I kind of feel bad for Kofi Kingston, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it had to be like that. You didn't expect Kofi to win the championship. It was like a random Kofi mania thing, but the story panned out to be more entertaining for Kofi than the match. He was just brutally murdered in the match. So Lashley is looking extremely dominant right now. He even smiled when he was leaving. So that was a fault. He was caught on camera smiling at the crowd. He's a villain right now. So all of that happened, but people are the wrestlers are so happy to come back to the crowd. Finally, it's difficult for them to maintain kayfabe and not just smile at the crowd for once. So yeah, they're happy to be back. And Lashley versus Goldberg, I don't think it's a bad match, to be honest. The two men who just muscle men just wanting to fight and slap each other off. So there's not a problem in that. It's going to be a 2-3 minute match. So let's just see what happens because Goldberg is almost 90% there on Raw because the building has advertised it. But if apparently Big E does come back to cash in because of the murder that has been done on, Kofi Kingston tonight. Sorry to ruin the winner of the men's Money in the Bank. But if that does happen, then it could be something different. Don't just hope that Goldberg is back. Maybe he's not.
Well, let's see, man. I think the trend of returns and surprises will be continuing for another week or so.
Yeah, it will because we saw Balor return to SmackDown. We saw a big guy who's from Hollywood return in the end of the night. We are seeing Goldberg return tomorrow, maybe. On SmackDown, we are probably expecting Sasha Banks. So all of these wrestlers are slowly coming back. So let's just see what happens.
So let's move on to the Raw Women's Championship match. It was Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair, the feud that never ends. So I was not expecting a lot into this match. That was the mentality I went while watching this match, and I don't know what happened, but these two women like worked their asses off.
Yeah. To be honest, I can call it the match of the night because Yeah, I do love Roman Reigns a lot. All of the people know. But I can call this the match of the night. This is the match that made me pop out of my couch to jump in joy because I had predicted Charlotte Flair to win the Raw Women's Championship, and it did happen. The match was fantastic. The spots were crazy. The counter of the Riptide into the DDT was awesome. The moonsault, all of that stuff. Entire match was amazing. And one spot that I remember, Rhea Ripley almost botching that move, then pushing herself into the suplex to Charlotte Flair. So all of that happened, and Charlotte Flair was wearing a old, gear of hers from Fastlane 2016, the green gear. So that was also there. So a lot of history there as well. But this match shocked everyone. No one was excited for this. But Charlotte Flair was cheered. So people loved her. She's the heel here, but she was cheered a lot. And the early parts of the match, she was going around showing the Stone Cold sign to all of those people in the arena, saying shit on camera. So extremely happy with the match, even more happy with the result. And I think and I hope the story is over.
I don't know what happened. That was what I was saying. I don't know what happened. Like, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, were the crowd chanting, "We want Becky"?
Yes, they were. In the middle of the match, I think they were. But I think in the entire match, they weren't. So they were chanting, "We want Becky" around in the middle, but then they began to chant, "Let's go, Charlotte, let's go, Rhea," and all of that stuff. They chanted for Charlotte more, they chanted for Rhea less. Everything happened. But overall, I think the crowd was excited for this match, and the superstars didn't fail to entertain.
Like, it was a slow build for even the fans to get invested. Like, these two ladies are just killing it with these spots and moves.
Yeah, in the overall story leading into this match at Money in the Bank was terrible, like extremely poor. Each and every segment felt like on one episode of Raw, you'll call it the worst segment of the year. And then next week, Charlotte and Rhea shock you and make that segment the worst. So each and every week, it was like bad after bad after bad. But the match, it just took over the entire storyline, made people forget about it. You can call it the carbon copy of the Sasha and Bianca storyline. The storyline was extremely bad, but the match shocked everyone. It is the carbon copy. And I don't think we are getting another Charlotte versus Rhea at SummerSlam. I know it's WWE, but I don't think they are going to get it. I think the man who I don't like so much is coming back. So Charlotte versus Becky, heated rivalry. That is the rise of the man, to be honest. Charlotte is the one that was the person that Becky attacked and became the man for the first time. So that's going to be a personal rivalry. Hopefully, promos are better because Becky is good at promos. So all of that will happen. But let's see what happens for Rhea Ripley. I don't want. Let's just hope people are not going on Twitter and saying, "Oh my God, she's buried," and "Oh my God, her career is over," and all of that stuff. Because recent call-ups to the main roster, Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest, you can talk about Bianca Belair, not ruined. So everything is going well, and WWE is back at its not peak because the peak is going to be SummerSlam, but almost its peak.
I won't say ruined. The names you mentioned there, I won't say they are ruined, but you could say, for example, mainly Rhea Ripley. She's kind of toned down.
Bad booking, you could say that. Bad booking could be the term you use because Rhea Ripley on NXT was a beast. So Rhea Ripley on the main roster was kind of a toned down beast. So the main roster win at WrestleMania wasn't that good because the match itself wasn't up to the mark. The story was random. She just popped up and challenged, maybe win a battle royal, maybe win a fatal four way or something like that, earn your stuff. So the booking as Raw Women's Champion was terrible for her. I feel bad that her first main roster title run went like that. But there are multiple reigns in the future. Rhea versus Becky is a dream match. So all of that would happen. I don't think she's going to be ruined like most of the call-ups have been.
And yeah, with the whole booking thing, people didn't even care about her. Like in the beginning parts, nobody even cared about Rhea Ripley. I hope after this performance, people start getting heating up to Rhea Ripley again.
If you compare this match to the match in the Thunderdome at Hell in a Cell, if just imagine that you have removed the crowd from Money in the Bank, it's still the Thunderdome. still it was a very good match. It's not just the crowd. The match itself was really good, and that Hell in a Cell, it was just botch after botch after botch, and
Do,
nothing was going good.
do you remember the
So
match from the PC WrestleMania?
yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I
So
think from the whole series, these two matches are the ones that stand out.
yeah, it's been decent this storyline, but not too good. So the match is kind of the cherry on top. It ends as a brilliant story. So let's just hope it goes good for the Raw Women's title because it has instantly in one night become more prestigious than it ever has. And I was very happy that Charlotte has won her 14th Women's Championship in WWE. And she's just going home at Pat McAfee, man. I remember this line. He said that when you're the offspring of a Flair, you know how to win. So Charlotte is going home and saying, "Daddy Rick, I think you're just too ahead of me. I'm almost there." So that's been Charlotte your entire life, but this one is different because she's not had a title run in a long time. So after losing the NXT Women's Championship, she's won nothing. Oh, sorry, the Women's Tag Team titles. Yeah, I forgot about the Women's Tag Team titles, much like WWE. So that is going to happen. She's not won in a long time. Let's just see what happens.
By the way, motivated Charlotte Flair is the best Charlotte Flair. We can exclude the burying and the being featured a lot part, but a motivated Charlotte Flair giving matches like this in a while is the best Charlotte Flair.
She cried, she was looking passionate, she was motivated. Absolutely. Because the heel Charlotte Flair, obviously, I am the opportunity and all of that stuff. But even she broke down in front of the crowd because she was unfortunate to have COVID and not be able to participate at WrestleMania. It would have been Asuka versus Charlotte, to be honest. And now that she has been in front of the crowd, she just got emotional. And Charlotte Flair delivering these matches proves to be all those Charlotte haters, all those people who say that she's getting title after title after title. Okay, you. So she's getting title after title. She just smacked everyone and said, "This is what I can do. This is what I will do, and this is why I deserve all those titles that I have." So yeah,
Let's talk about the highlights. Yeah, so the both women are fired up from the get go. It was, you could say, a slow paced match. The fans are slowly getting into invested in the match. Like some of the parts, fans were going with that Becky chant. We want Becky because of the quote unquote rumor. So there was one spot where I think you mentioned it, like they were kind of watching it, where it felt like they were doing a dance routine. You know the spot I am talking about, where they are doing
yeah,
a cradle, the transition, and at least Rhea was able to pull up that bridging suplex. So that was a great spot. So as we get to the end, so there was one spot where Charlotte Flair hit you could say, a top rope natural selection. So that looked really good because Rhea actually spiked on the mat. And we of course see that a big moonsault from Charlotte Flair on the outside, typical Charlotte Flair, move in all of her matches. So we get to the final parts. So there was, I think, Rhea's leg got trapped on one of those the post and the steel steps. So Charlotte Flair was going crazy, just bashing Rhea's leg on that corner. So then it was tied into the finish where Charlotte got in the natural. So it was the figure eight, and that's how Rhea tapped out. Really good match. Charlotte Flair is once again Raw Women's Champion. So I don't know. There you got the Nikki Ash element in this whole story. Now that she's the Money in the Bank holder, but I wouldn't mind if they do Becky versus Charlotte for SummerSlam.
yeah. I think it's kind of obvious that they're doing the Becky versus Charlotte. I wouldn't mind adding Miria to that match. I won't absolutely. So that's obviously going to be the match at SummerSlam. But do you want a Nikki Ash cash in? I don't. So let's just see where this goes because, as I said, in one night, the Raw Women's Championship has become more prestigious than it ever has. So it's a bright future for Raw. It's a bright future for WWE, and I'm really happy finally that Charlotte won.
And I hope Rhea Ripley gets a complete reboot on her character. Let's start all over again.
Yeah, character. Let her have that nightmare character. But yeah, as a build up, as a return to the championship, whenever she will win the championship back, because she will. So let's just see when it happens, but give her a good title reign this time.
So, shall we move on to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match?
Yes, let's do it.
So, before the match, we had a little segment where we had my boy Rick Poogs. So, he was with King Shinsuke Nakamura. So, they were, interrupted by Riddle. So, Riddle is typical high at this point. So, he's just asking these stupid questions. And he actually requested, Rick Poogs to, play his favorite bro, Randy Orton's theme song. So Rick Books was like, I don't know, man, it's kind of tough. So I think we even heard the crowd, booing. But Rick Books, decided to, yeah, let's play this shit. And he was jamming that theme song. Killer. Rick Books is great.
Yeah, Rick Books is like Elias toned down, toned up, to be honest. He's like Elias toned up, and Riddle is amazing. King Nakamura is amazing. Let's talk about the ladder match because that was the main highlight, and I was extremely happy with the result of the men's ladder match. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, well, let me end this segment. They're jamming to the Randy Orton theme, and we could see, Nakamura, he was doing the Randy Orton pose, and we panned to the, entrance way. There was Kevin Owens, he had a little confused look on his face. He's just creeped out with what he witnessed here. So he was the first guy, making his entrance. And by the way, everyone was over in this match. We could see it through via the entrances.
Everyone. The only one we were expecting to be booed was Drew McIntyre. He was also cheered. He had a stone during his entrance, a cushion stone, obviously, which he spiked the sword with. And then John Morrison got a great pop. Ricochet got a great pop. Kevin Owens got a crazy pop. Everyone got a good cheer entering the match. And talking about the match itself, it was great. Let's talk about it now.
So before we head to the match, there was one other part where you could see, John Morrison was accompanied by the Miz, but Morrison said, "I'm going to handle this by my own." So he said, Miz to go back. So you could do something from that. You save it when we get to the review part, but this match, man, I know this was going to be crazy because of the lineup. I know it was going to be the opposite of the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. And these guys delivered it, man. This was a killer match. Great stuff. What do you think about it?
Great stuff, great stuff. And in a ladder match, when you see the names like Kevin Owens, Ricochet, John Morrison, these three people, knew these three people aren't winning, but these three people are there to do the spots. And they over-delivered, to be honest. Even not using those ladders, Ricochet balancing on the top rope and doing that, splash onto the people. That was too far. The distance was like amazing. And then McIntyre doing his claymores and all that stuff, a double claymore, a claymore to Rollins, everything was happening. So yeah, the spots were amazing. The match itself was amazing. The winner itself did not shine in the entire match, but in the end he did. So everything was going fine, and I loved the entire spots and crazy things that they did. Not overdoing it, because we have seen that happen, but then they make up the bridge, which has now become like a compulsory thing in a Money in the Bank ladder match. And I was like, just waiting, who's going through it? Who's going through it? So finally, we get to know that the guy who is not scared of anything is going through it. So Kevin Owens. So yeah, amazing match.
So let's talk about the highlights. So if you want to pick one guy being the MVP, you could say it was John Morrison. He is, great in that parkour style of, which is famous for. So we did kind of see here. So I think let's start from the spots here. So there was one spot where Morrison was on top of the ladder. He was actually, Nakamura actually locked in a armbar, or you could say triangle from the ladder. So there was another spot where Rollins and Morrison were actually working together because, both are the drip guys or dripstick, whatever you want to call it. And I didn't expect a Johnny drip chant. That was from out that came out of
Yeah,
nowhere.
that came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting that, and that shocked me and made me happy also because that Johnny Morrison, I'm sorry, John Morrison is being accepted and loved by the people. Love that. But Rollins and Morrison, Cody was saying this would be the rivalry of the year. We have Johnny Drip Drip versus Drip God Seth Rollins. So yeah, amazing to see a bit of a strategic alliance for a short time. But yeah, John Morrison was amazing in this match, as was everyone. I wouldn't say anyone under delivered. So overall, a great performance by all these guys. And I hate to say that women are not able to do the matches that men are properly, because we did have inexperience in this match as well. I think it was the first Money in the Bank ladder match for Biggie. McIntyre has been in some. Rollins is a former winner. We have Ricochet who's been there. Morrison, after a lot of years, has come back into the Money in the Bank ladder match. So they also have an experience. But again, I don't know how, but the men kind of do it well. So the women's ladder match had experience, but they didn't deliver. The men's ladder match overshadowed it totally. And it was a good match with a very good result.
And getting to the match, so they did a big man spot, with McIntyre and Biggie going face to face. And by the way, Biggie did that apron spear, which always, pops me.
Yeah.
So, like you mentioned, McIntyre hit a double claymore to one of those guys, and there was actually a ladder setup near the announcer's table. So, Kevin Owens was the unfortunate guy who went through that ladder. And by the way, Kevin Owens was my wild card pick to win this match. So, he's out of the equation. So, we are now left with Rollins. He was the only guy, present in the ring. So, he was climbing on the top, but he was stopped by Big E. So both men are fighting on the ladder. So Biggie actually hits a big ending from the ladder, which looked great. So Biggie was able to climb the ladder and unhooked the briefcase. Big pop for Biggie. Biggie is Mr. Money in the Bank. And yeah, I'm happy with the winner. I said that Kevin Owens was my wild card pick to win this. Glad that Drew McIntyre didn't get this. By the way, McIntyre was actually taken out by Jinder Mahal and his goons. So there you go. So Biggie is the Mr. Money in the Bank. So I want to see where this goes because there are a lot of possibilities. You want to look forward to the draft as well, because if the draft happens, then mostly they could draft him to Monday Night Raw and he go after the WWE title picture, or he could stay in SmackDown and he could tease a little bit with Roman Reigns.
Yeah, because Biggie winning is, first of all, really happy for Biggie. So possibilities of him cashing in, I just hope it's not a failed cash in. I seriously hope. And talking about how he's going to cash in, who he's going to cash in on, if he does go to Raw, part of the draft, I think it's going to be a straight up one-on-one cash in, and he's not going to do it backstabbing or anything. He's going to just walk up to Lashley and say, I'm cashing in, and do all of that stuff. Or he could stay on SmackDown as a single star, and he could pin Roman's opponent in a Universal title match, because I'm kind of sure by now that Roman Reigns is not going to be pinned for a good amount of time. So pinning Roman's opponent in a Universal title match will be the best option for Biggie to become Universal Champion. So I don't see an issue there, but I would want him to be the WWE Champion, to be honest. And we just saw that New Day is the best team among top 50 in the tag team history month. So rejoining the New Day, reuniting the New Day would be an amazing moment now that the crowds are also back. So let's see what happens.
You know what? The WWE title picture situation you pitched, I think that's safer, compared to going with Roman, because Roman is godlike now. So you can't risk, making Biggie take the loss here. So I think going for the WWE title would be the safe bet here.
So yeah, I am happy that someone accepted, apart from me, that Roman is at a god level. So Biggie going to SmackDown is going to be an unsafe move, to be honest, because if he does have a failed cash in, I'll be really disappointed. So you can pin Roman's opponent, but still taking the title away from Roman Reigns is going to be a risky move because he's selling merch. Even though the people were booing him, I think 50 to 60% of the audience was wearing Roman Reigns merchandise. So you have to see that aspect as well. Taking the title away will mean a lot. Go for the WWE Championship. Lashley has been amazing, but he will be the safer one to lose the championship than Roman Reigns. So go to Raw, reunite the New Day, win the WWE Championship, then break up the New Day, make Xavier a single star because we've seen hints of it in 2021. So let's see what happens because I'm talking about where he should cash in. Raw definitely.
Even though there are also some scary scenarios over there with regards to Lesnar and Goldberg.
Lesnar, I think, is not coming back before WrestleMania 38. I'm sorry, but I don't think he is because SummerSlam was a big match. He's not coming for a Clash of Champions or a TLC. He's not that guy. So he will come at WrestleMania 38, maybe not even against Lashley, maybe against Roman Reigns with that Paul Heyman effect if The Rock is not available. So let's just see what happens because who would mind a non-title Lashley versus Lesnar? No one. So let's just see what happens. But WWE title picture is looking interesting with the amount of stories that can happen. So Biggie, just enter Raw and let's see what happens.
He can come back, when the legends rise. You know what I mean?
Saudi?
November. Mostly happening.
Super Showdown / Crown Jewel / Greatest Clash of Champions, Greatest Survivor Series
/ WWE getting desperate.
/ money.
So enough of the money shit, but let's get down to the main event.
Let's do it.
So it was for the Universal Championship. It was Roman Reigns versus Edge, and I have to say, the match was good, but it wasn't on the level of maybe the WrestleMania match or maybe the Fastlane match with Daniel Bryan. But Edge really he did his best to pull Roman and have a really at least a decent enough match, but it was good. So what do you think about the match and the whole thing we saw in the main event?
Yeah, compared to the other Roman matches, and I can't put this in the match of the year contender list. I'm really sorry, even though I love Roman Reigns a lot. But yeah, it wasn't bad because he's kind of at a level that he isn't under delivering at all. When he enters the arena, whether it be in jacket and sneakers or in ring gear and the golden glove, he will deliver. So Roman Reigns and Edge was a good match, not at the level of the other matches. Yes, WrestleMania was like a grand main event and was too good. Maybe Daniel Bryan is sitting at his face and saying, see, you had me, you had a better match. So it was a decent-ish match, but yeah, it kind of got ruined in the end towards the match because the referee knockout that happened was not really good because the referee didn't actually get hit. He was just stupidly falling. And then we saw a superstar come and crash the match in between and all of that stuff happened. So overall, okay-ish match, but happy that it main evented because if it gets the main event spot, a championship match has not got the main event spot since 2016 when Rollins and Reigns main evented. So that gives some legitimacy to the championship more than even Roman has already given. So yeah, good match. As you said, I won't doubt that. But let's talk about the end of the match and the highlights because that was kind of more important.
So let me start with the story of the match. So before that, Roman is actually getting mixed reactions. So this is going to be a theme. So it has been a theme, for over the years. Like he was always getting these mixed reactions, but nowadays he's actually getting the right. There are actually right reasons to have those kind of mixed reactions.
Talking about the reaction, there's a really good point from Eric Bischoff. The WWE Network show Table for Three. They had the creative team on the table. They had Eric Bischoff, Jim Cornette, and Michael Hayes. So Eric Bischoff, they were talking about some main event in the future of WrestleMania. Eric Bischoff said when Roman Reigns enters, this is 2017, when he was getting booed out of the building, beating Taker and Cena. So he said when Roman Reigns enters, first you hear the low voices of the ladies because they love Roman Reigns. They were like, yay, and all of that happens. Then you hear the deep voices of the men who really hate him. So that is the reaction for Roman Reigns. Now it is not a gender bias, it is character bias. So character base, if he's a heel, if people are booing him, then kudos to WWE, they've done the perfect job. If people love him, that's because, again, of the character, people like me who are just loving Roman Reigns based on what he's doing as a character. So you can call him the most polarizing star right now, as John Cena was for 10 to 15 years. So he's not taking that spot. He's not the next John Cena. He's the freaking first Roman Reigns. So yeah, he's getting those reactions, and let's see where this is heading. He's not going down.
And he actually does a great job playing to the crowd. Like he becomes an absolute bitch. Like he commands attention.
Yeah, absolutely. He's like one punch and acknowledge me. He's one kick and I'm the head of the table. So because he has to, I think he's being forced on SmackDown and Money in the Bank because he's a heel. He cannot smile at the crowd, so he has to do something to pump himself up. That okay, the fans are back. I can't imagine how difficult it is to enter the arena as Roman Reigns, getting the cheers and the boos, seeing people for the first time in so many days, 495 days, and not being able to laugh or smile. So that's difficult. But let's talk about the match. Character based, Roman Reigns is killing it.
So, like I said, the story of the match was they actually started a little slow. Like the pace was a little slow. Like I think Roman and Edge were kind of feeling out from the get go. Then Roman all of a sudden I think Paul Heyman when he went to outside to regroup, Paul Heyman gave him some pep talk and actually motivated Roman. So he was going full on bashing Edge all over the place, and it was actually slow. They didn't want it to go to the next level. And at this point, Roman is just dominating Edge. Like Edge is doing a great job, selling. And yeah, then we slowly started to to see the big moves. So like for example, the Superman punch and the whole stuff where Roman was going for a spear, I think, on Edge, but Edge ducked out of the way and he went to that barricade spot. It's been a while since I seen that. So Edge once again continued the assault. He speared Roman through another set of barricade. So we enter the ring here. So Roman was not able. Edge was not able to get the win here. Roman kicked out. So at one point we see the Usos coming out. I think they were about to assist Roman Reigns here. So they were chased out by the Mysterios. So meanwhile we had I think the plan was for Roman Reigns to take his revenge on Edge with that whole chair rod thing that they've been building for all these weeks. So I think it backfired where Edge was the one who got that cross face deal. So he was trying to pass out Roman here while this whole shtick was going around. So we see Seth Rollins. He came to the crowd and he attacked Edge and he just walked off. So I think Roman he thought that this is it for Edge. He was going for a spear, but Edge was the one who hit the spear. I think we saw a new referee run into the ring, and did you notice that Roman, when they were doing that referee spot, running spot, Roman actually kicked out before the referee even entered. So major botch there. But there you see Roman was able to kick out again. We head to the final parts here. So Seth Rollins was once again trying to get involved. So this caused distraction. So Roman hit a big spear, got the victory here. So yeah, Roman is still Universal Champion. So Seth Rollins came again. We see another kind of post-match bit where we see Edge and Rollins fighting out. So they disappear. So we are left with Roman and Paul Heyman. So I think Roman wanted a little, you could say, mic time here. He said to the crowd that now the whole world can acknowledge me. So I think this was the end of the show, I believe. But here we hear a familiar tune and this place explodes. John Cena is back, man. And I have to say, this is 2008 Royal Rumble type reaction. This place was loud.
Yeah. So I'm going to start by the match because there is a lot to talk about. So I'm not going to do the entire match, obviously good match, but towards the end it got kind of got ruined by Seth's attack. I wanted Roman to win it fair, but obviously he's the heel, he won't do that. So Roman Reigns retains the Universal Championship. Edge versus Rollins is confirmed for SummerSlam, even though it isn't right now. So John Cena, the franchise player, is back with another new T-shirt. So he's got a big pop here. 2008 compared, I don't think so. 2008 was too damn big. But yeah, this pop was not less because people jumped out of their seats because they were promised a lot of surprises by Stephanie McMahon. And John Cena coming back is kind of confirming that Cena versus Reigns is happening, but Cena is coming to Raw tomorrow, so you just don't know what's going to happen. I think it's just for the views because Raw has been getting backstabbed by SmackDown, bashed by SmackDown views, 400,000 plus, 500,000 plus views for SmackDown. So Raw is going to get a good amount of views tomorrow because they have John Cena. So that's going to be a good storyline. But yeah, happy to see John Cena. But talking as a fan now, getting the reviewer out of me, good to see John Cena back. But thank you for coming back because Roman Reigns has another person to just kick ass and kill him. So John Cena, welcome back.
Like, I want to talk about the reaction. Like, everyone was going crazy. No one, there was not one soul was booing this. Like, everyone was happy to see this guy. Like, this is the match we want for SummerSlam. We won't be accepting any other bullshit here.
Yeah, John Cena. I was saying this yesterday. If John Cena doesn't come back for SummerSlam, I would like to see Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor. But yeah, it's not the blockbuster match that we call John Cena versus Roman Reigns, and the 2017 one was good. The match itself was really good, but right at that time, Roman Reigns was not a good promo guy. He was just getting bashed by Roman Reigns. And let's just wait for the promos now because your big dog is now the tribal chief. He's just at a god level at everything he does. His shoes, his jackets, his in-ring matches, his promos, everything is gold. So this John Cena versus Roman Reigns is going to be far better than the 2017 one. And I'm just very happy that this match is going to happen. I don't care what the result is, to be honest. No, I do care what the result is. John Cena should not win. But I think you have something to say. Just add it.
I kind of regret them having that match in 2017.
Okay.
Like,
Yes.
it would have been one thing, if they did it at a WrestleMania, not a, B-level pay-per-view like No Mercy. But yeah, still kind of regretted that we have seen this match already. But I would accept the fact that this is a different Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns actually needs some big guys right now. John Cena is the guy. So I'm here. I'm here for that journey, right? I'm here for that journey. I'm here for that storyline. So let's see.
Yeah, John Cena is obviously not here for multiple pay-per-views. He's here for one SummerSlam. So they're going to make us believe that Roman Reigns is going to lose. And I think it is going to be a fair win for Roman Reigns, one-on-one, no cheating and all of that stuff. Because when you do that, it's to continue a storyline. John Cena versus Roman Reigns, I don't think will continue after SummerSlam. So it should be a fair victory for Roman. John Cena doesn't need to win championships, right? He can put over Reigns in a big way and just leave. So he does now have a bald spot as well. So let's just see what happens. But Roman Reigns versus John Cena, I do kind of regret as well in 2017 because if it did happen for the first time now at SummerSlam, it would have been a major marquee match. It's just sad to know in the back of your mind that, okay, this has happened in the past. But that doesn't tone down the excitement of fans to watch this match. SummerSlam is, for the first time, it's going to be, the tagline, the biggest party of the summer.
So you should be thanking the wrestling gods. You should be thanking Paul Heyman. You should be thanking Hollywood, and especially you should be thanking Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Stop hating the boss, you idiots. He's the man who's giving you entertainment right now.
Let's say, man, Roman Reigns needed John Cena. He gets John Cena.
Yeah, absolutely. Super amazing show, to be honest. Money in the Bank just made me so happy to watch it, and the future is just getting brighter and brighter for WWE. I'm very excited as a fan.
So SummerSlam, is guaranteed to be a big show. So hope WWE doesn't screw it. Give us some good stories for all the big matches here.
Lashley versus Goldberg, Reigns versus Cena, Edge versus Rollins. You have two Hall of Famers in Edge and Goldberg, a future Hall of Famer in John Cena, a future God in Roman Reigns. So all of these big name in SummerSlam, it's going to be amazing. Cardi B maybe is the apparent host of SummerSlam. Even though we don't like her, and even though it's too adult and cringy, but she is a big pop artist name, so that's going to bring a lot of random fan viewers of her to the show. So SummerSlam is going to be a big event.
I think.
And one
I
thing
think.
to add,
Before we move on, I think the Cardi B thing is not happening because I think she has a baby on the way.
oh damn. Okay, if Cardi B does have a baby on the way, I'm happy. That congratulations, Cardi B, and please don't come to SummerSlam. Please don't ruin it. And one more thing is it's on a Saturday for the US fans, which makes it even better for us Indian fans that it's on a Sunday. So that's going to be amazing. And I'm just excited to see every single show. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to wake up to watch Raw. John Cena is going to be there. I'm just very excited to see what's going to happen.
And by the way, if you want to experiment things, I will talk about in depth in on the main roster talk. I think SummerSlam should be on traditional pay-per-view also.
Isn't it?
Now you get it basically for free on Peacock or the WWE network. So you should go to the old format, like what AEW is doing right now. Sell it on Fight
Okay,
TV. You know why?
let's just what
You know why? Because if you have someone like Roman Reigns versus John Cena main eventing your pay-per-view, so you could do a big deal of maybe people will get more invested and buy this pay-per-view via traditional outlets. It's a far-fetched idea, but I'm just throwing it around.
yeah, I mean you can throw it around, but let's just see because WrestleMania 28 became the most bought pay-per-view just because Rock versus Cena. So now Roman Reigns is the big name. Roman Reigns is taking the place of John Cena, who's the current superstar. John Cena is the place of Rock, who's a Hollywood star come back to become a WWE superstar. So similar kind of match. That's WWE's plan if they want to make more money. But again, as a fan, I don't want to understand those things. I just want to watch. So SummerSlam is going to be amazing, and I'm all in for it.
But overall, Money in the Bank, really solid show, man. What did you score, Money in the Bank?
I'll score it a 9.
I think I will also go with a 9 because of that cliffhanger alone.
Yeah, it
So
ended the right way, and some matches were unpredictable, but a 9 would be justified.
there you go, man. That was Money in the Bank. So I think it's time for us to leave. And before we leave, where can these guys find you?
Okay, you guys can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at GharBaiteBC. I do a talk show, I do vlogs, random special episodes. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I've planned 5 to 6 videos in the future. Also follow Slamhub Wrestling wherever he is. It's going to be a big, few months for content creators.
And you can find Slamhub Wrestling on Twitter at SlamHubW, Instagram at Slamhub Wrestling. And you can catch the audio versions on Anchor and Spotify as well. So this was our review for Money in the Bank. And we'll see you guys next time.